Welcome to Liquid, How CFOs Outperform. I'm your host, Tom Gavigan, and I am super excited to be joined by my co-host, my special co-host today, April Mo, our CMO, and we're joining you here live from our Kyriba Live Paris event. Today's episode, we're joined by John Colleemallay from Dassault Systemes. John, thank you so much for taking the time to join us in a very busy day.
Thank you. Pleased to be here.
Before we dig in to the conversation today, I really just want to ask one open-ended provocative question, John. What would 5-year-old John think of your career today?
I think when we think about a 5-year-old kid, you would think that the kid would be dreaming about his future, dreaming about playing, dreaming about how to consider things in life. And how would I explain my role to a 5-year-old kid to make the kid dream? If I were to explain, okay, I manage bank accounts, I connect bank accounts. If I were to speak about APIs, the kid will simply go to bed straight away.
Great bedtime tactic.
I think we need to, my job, if I've been doing that for more than 25 years now, it's probably because I've been excited about the job. How do I transmit this excitement to a 5-year-old kid? How do I make the kid dream? Treasury is for me a world which is constantly moving. Treasury is not about accounting. Mm-hmm. Treasury is about innovation. Treasury is about the world changing every day. You wake up in the morning, you don't know what you're going to do. Something has changed. There has been a new election. There has been a new president in the US. There's been a war in the Far East, and this changes your job. And this is what is exciting about Treasury. A 5-year-old kid you would need to say, okay, my job is to make your dreams come true. Mm-hmm. My job is to give you the opportunity to grow. This is what we do for the company. We give the company the opportunity to grow. We accompany the acquisitions, the projects of the company. And you need to find words to explain this to your kid, a 5-year-old kid. How do I buy you the next big toy, Mm-hmm. So yeah. This is about it. Manage your liquidity to make your dreams come true.
John, I love that. You know what? I happen to have a 5-year-old daughter. And what you just said about help make your dreams come true is exactly what she would understand, especially when it comes to toys.
Yes, yes.
I think one of the things I've observed just off the bat and across the board and having these various interactions and interviews is just the pride and excitement that John has. I think in what you do is I think it's something we see. I think within our market, which is why we're here and why we love doing what we do. I also think what you do as well, John, probably it's keeping up with things. It's education. It's learning more and more. It's not being stuck in a certain way, like you said. Mm-hmm. There's a new event and new activity, and I think what we do and the world in which we live in, it forces us to continue to learn. Yes. And evolve, which I think 5-year-old me would have enjoyed as well.
Indeed, and what you need also to transmit is you have to be, you have to work as a team. You have to work with partners. And you have to work with partners who have the same DNA as you.
Yeah.
And you were asking me before we start, Tom, how long we've been partnering together. With Kyriba, for example, we've been partnering for the last, since 2008, 16 years. Yeah. So it's been a long journey, but it's been an amazing journey as well, because both of us as partners, we have the same DNA.
That's wonderful.
It's about innovation. It's about growing. Yeah. It's about trying the next big thing, which would excite us, Mm-hmm. And this is what I like about Treasury.
Yeah, and John, I know you're passionate about this concept of cash culture, right? Partnering with all the different parts of your company on that common goal with pursuing and optimizing your cash. Tell us a little bit more about how that all comes together for you, since partnership is such a strong, has such a strong resonance with you.
Well, cash culture is something which you need to educate teams to understand what it means, especially in a company like Dassault Systemes, where we generate cash more than we borrow. Yeah. Sometimes the teams tend to tell you, okay, we have a lot of cash. We don't need to cash forecast. We don't need to do forecasts. The sales team would be more concerned about revenue, for instance. I've spent probably the last 15 years to explain it's not because we have cash that we should not consider how to better invest the cash. That's why we need tools to help us to cash forecast. That's why we need to understand how the revenue converts into cash at some point. This is about educating your internal partners. And this is where cash culture is key. Cash culture is just not saying, okay, I've got a tool, I connect it to the bank, I've got the cash. Cash culture is about understanding where it's coming from, how you convert your revenue into cash, when are you going to get it, how you better invest the cash, how you improve the P&L of the company. When you explain this, especially to the sales team, that cash culture is about your P&L as a salesperson, then it kicks in. The guy says, okay, then it's my bonus which is concerned. And then you get the guy running in to do it for you. So it's about education. It's about spending time with people to explain why this is important. This is about cash culture.
And I guess to a 5-year-old, I was thinking, just kind of the way that you're describing that in a company and educating all of your stakeholders. For a 5-year-old, I can almost imagine that as, telling my daughter is about getting in the same boat and rowing in the same direction. Yeah. You could be different, but that you get on there, you have the same goal, and you go in the same direction. That's powerful.
Indeed, everybody should row in the same direction. Everybody should understand the risk as well. So, when you mention explaining this to your kid, the 5-year-old kid, it's also about what are the risks and opportunities for us out there, and how we better manage and to reach our goal. I always, when I explain to my kids when they were little, it's about having a goal in life and try to fight to reach for this goal. Try with all your energy, try your best, and work with the best teams, try to get the best tools, but never forget what is your goal.
What John just has been explaining indirectly is why, is making sure everybody's on the same page. And that's something that I'm so passionate about, that our CEO is so passionate about, is knowing why we're doing what we're doing and keeping others informed such that we are going in the right direction. Which I think actually goes into where we want to dive into a little bit deeper, John, and go a little bit into more of what you've been discussing. As finance leaders, our day-to-day jobs, right? It's always about outgrowing, outperforming, outlasting. It's a competitive environment in which we live in. So what we like to talk about is the Chief Outperformance Officer, okay? So I would like to know from you, what do you consider your greatest advantage as an innovator in the liquidity space?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think the greatest advantage would be to be aware of the market out there, how the market is moving. And you should always and constantly be able to adapt to the changes. If you just stay idle and say, okay, I know what I'm doing, it's safe, and I want to keep it as such, you're dead.
Yeah,
you're dead. So if you want to stay ahead of the curve, you need to change, you need to adapt, you need to move, you need to innovate, and you need to be doing that constantly.
How do you keep up though? Because I think we're in a world of just like information overload sometimes. So how do you prioritize that learning, and where are you going? What do you find as the best sources for that information?
Again, like I said earlier on, you are not alone in this in this objective. You need to be first with your teams, but also with your partners. Make sure you have strong and reliable partners who would be able to be very reactive. Very reactive. And this is very important. To me, my partners not only need to understand what I'm doing, what my company does, to be able to adapt and provide the best products to us, but also to be able to think ahead. Where are we going in the next 10 to 15 years? Where do I want to bring my teams? Where do I want to bring the company? And we need to give this visibility. Be reactive, understand what you are doing right now, but also have a vision about the future.
Yeah.
That's really enlightening. So at the very start, this connects back with what you said at the start, which is that, and it's refreshing because you said Treasury is innovation. Treasury is
Indeed.
innovation. It's not accounting, you said. And that is so true. So to outperform, you need to adapt, but really to adapt in these changing times, you need to innovate. So how did you connect all those dots and get to this point and this principle in your career and as a senior director of Treasury?
Yeah, I think when we started with this was, myself, I'm always been into technology, liking the latest gadgets, the iPhone, the iPad, and things like that. And in Treasury as well, I think this is where it was very interesting. The partnership with Kyriba is that we were looking for, at that time, a partner which would help us to be very agile on the market. At that time, there was all this move to the SaaS solution on the cloud. So this is where we started together, and we said to ourselves that we need to be very quick to adapt as well to our customers. Bear in mind that we are in the technology market, in the high-tech market. So we need to be very fast because the market is moving fast. All our customers need products which help them improve the world. What Dassault Systems is doing, we do virtual twins, and we provide a digital experience to our customers. In that sense, what I ask my teams is that in Treasury, we should also be able to provide the same experience. And the way we manage Treasury, we also need to be digital in the way we manage Treasury. That's why we've been probably the first corporate in France to use the latest technology in digital signature. For example, we were partnering with you guys. I remember in 2008, actually, when we implemented the new digital signature in France, and then we moved it to the US and then to Japan. These things, when you start doing this, you get excited about it. This is where you talk to your partners. Okay, now I want to do this. Now I want to try another thing, that's again. This is like a game, explaining this to your kid. This is like a game where you try new things and it works, and you want to go further, and you want to stay ahead of the curve, and you want also to influence, your community, your peers, and say, hey, you need to try this. This is secure. This helps you to better protect your assets as well. And this is, as a treasurer, I need to protect the assets of the company.
I love that John said the word partner about 12 times in the past.
I know.
Because I think that when I asked about keeping up and evolving, there wasn't a right answer, although I think personally partnering is probably the leading kind of answer to that. And I think it's so incredibly important for us as well. Our customers are our partners, right? Our partners are our partners, and that's how we continue to evolve what we're doing in our ecosystem to enhance and grow with the changing world around us, as we just kind of went through in our product roadmap strategy that we were just presenting a few moments ago. I guess what I want to ask John is current day environment, a lot going on every single day, something new hitting the news feed, an interest rate hike or a drop, a war over there, an election over here. What is your CFO tasked you with in the immediate future here that you guys are doing to manage around liquidity?
Yes, this is a challenge today with the geopolitics changing almost every day, and the CFO has got a huge challenge in being able to give financial stability and visibility to the market. This is what the CFO is looking for and asking us to do. You have a lot of volatility on the market, and our role as treasurers, we have to manage volatility, of course, but the main one of the main objectives for us is to provide the CFO with a certain financial stability when he talks to the market.
Mm-hmm.
And today, this is a big challenge because we have to make sure that all our risks are properly managed. We're talking about FX risk, we're talking about interest rate risk. Rates have been increasing significantly those last few years, and now they are going back down. And how do we protect also our assets to still generate the financial income?
Mm-hmm.
So anticipation is key. You need to be able to, and this is where the experience come into play. I'm not saying that I'm because of 25 years old more experience in that field. I know more than others, but your experience of having known cycles of where interest rates were very high before inflation were high and then down
Right.
and then up again helps you to better anticipate. And this is key nowadays in the market. And as a CFO, your CFO will probably want to know what will be next year's financial income,
Mm-hmm.
and how can he give this visibility to the market, and make sure that you are not being impacted, your shares are not being impacted because of the changes on geopolitics at the moment.
And John, I mean, before we started, we were chatting, and you made a really good point. You said, companies these days are not just measured by revenue, right? Everyone is looking at their cash balances, their cash flow, and so inevitably that becomes, a success metric, a very key one, right? An emerging key one for companies. Can you talk us through a little bit more about that, as sort of cash as a success metric? And how that is everyone's responsibility, not just Treasury's responsibility.
Indeed, cash has become a key KPI for us and for most of corporates today, because it helps us to better understand what will be the capacity to invest tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We need to be able to provide and to understand how our revenue converts into cash conversion ratio. We also need to better manage our DPO and DSO, days of payments outstanding, days of sales outstanding. This also, we were talking about cash culture earlier on. Mm-hmm. This forms part of your cash culture. Mm. Paying your suppliers on time and not too early is something which is key for us. Mm. Of course, not paying too late is very important. But also making sure that your cash is collected promptly. Yeah. And this is a huge challenge for all companies today. Okay, you're going to tell me, right, you've got receivables financing, you could do that, etc. Yes, true, but this is not the perfect solution, because receivables financing today, you have to disclose it, and all the financial analysts would be able to retreat the ratio and say, okay, no, if you didn't have receivables financing, this would be the real level of cash. So it's all about how you interact with your customers, how you interact with your suppliers as well, to better manage your cash cycles, and to better control your cash cycles. This is where today the Treasury as well has a key role to play in this job. Again, we interact with the different teams, with AP teams, with the C2C teams, to make sure that we get this information to better improve. This is where we now go into cash forecasting, to better forecast the cash, to provide a better visibility and better manage your cash for the future.
Excellent.
It resonates with the prior conversations in terms of being able to orchestrate across the organization. That's what I hear so often in terms of successful organizations, which Dassault Systemes obviously is, in terms of how large it is. But it is not working in silos. It is making sure that you're interacting with collections and AR and AP and accounting and so on. It is not, and Treasury truly is a lifeblood that connects all of those different pieces for the CFO, truly.
John, it's been so compelling to hear, your thoughts on adaptability, innovation, and it really ties into earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
we're at Kyriba Live Exchange Paris, and earlier our CEO was on stage talking about how she learned that there are 3 types of intelligence, right? There's IQ, there is EQ, and then there's AQ, which is adaptability quotient. And it sounds like a lot of your success has hinged on really capturing that AQ. So I have a question for you. What is your best kept secret about, what is your best kept secret when it comes to staying ahead of the curve?
I'm not sure it's about a secret, but it's about
no longer a secret now that you're talking about it.
The way you behave, the way you interact with your people.
Yeah.
And especially, I like to say to my teams that what I've achieved is because we have a strong team all together and all working in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being able to transmit this capacity to this will, this strive towards the success. You know you can do it. You know it's difficult, but you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I always give my teams challenging objectives. At the beginning of the year, they will always say, "No, we'll never be able. This is crazy. We'll never be able to do that." And then when you get at the end of the year, everybody overachieves. Why is that? It's because we all very strongly motivated, and you need to show that. You need to, and probably if you're talking about what is your success, it's about how you transmit this motivation as well to the team. What I have achieved would not have been possible if I didn't have such a strong team with me to build this success, and also our partners working with us.
Yeah.
It's about communication. It's about able to understand what you're doing and able to explain also to the others why it's important, why this is important, and what are you going to get out of this. When you want to do something, you need to give the visibility. This is where I was earlier talking about the vision. You need to have a vision. Otherwise people don't believe in you.
Right.
You need to have a dream, but your dream needs also to be realistic.
This is really resonating with me because I very regularly tell my own team that, it's sometimes not really expertise per se, like itself that can, kind of guarantee success, but it's more the will to win. The will to win brings you so much closer to success, and everything you've just described, motivation, just wanting to win, the compulsion to do more.
Yes.
That's the will to win.
Yes.
And clearly we see that in you, John.
And also the path, though, he's talking about, it just resonates with how we see our ecosystem of our customers and our internal team here at Kyriba, though, that performance and relationship, right?
That's what
he's talking about relationship over and over. He keeps commenting in terms of what you have and the relationships you have within Dassault Systemes, within your ecosystem of your professional network and partner solutions, perhaps like Kyriba. So obviously that resonates deeply with us in order to kind of continue to evolve and grow and navigate these times.
It's about your power of conviction as well. You can have all these relationships, but you need to convince people that you're right, that you know where you're going. Sometimes you have an objective, it's not very clear. Maybe it's not even very clear for yourself, but you believe in it.
Yep.
You need to have a strong belief. When you have a strong belief, you can easily convince people.
That's right.
And you bring the people all on board all together. And when you have the people on board, you've already achieved 50%, if not more, of the objective.
I think what John's talking about is probably more important now than maybe ever, at least in my career, because of a couple things. One, it's a more and more remote world in which we're living in, right? So like communication is so
Even more
key,
critical.
especially for companies like your own, right? It's big, it's large, right? You're never sitting side by side with your entire team. So communication's key. But also if I take a technological lens to it, right? Right now we see right? We see an aggressive growth in AI, right? And I think for some people look at it as perhaps threatening, whereas I see it as more an amplification of what we do, but it's going to require those human connections and communication in order to take advantage of it and use it and harness it to achieve the performance we're looking to do. So I think now it's like more than ever, it's not about staying in our little silos and isolating. It's actually more important than ever that we are expanding and encouraging and forcing those relationships both within our own internal organizations as well as those within our own network.
You're correct. And I think it's so important that the world has changed. The way we work now has changed. People are more remote. But you also need to meet people as well to be able to, exchanging ideas.
That's not going to go away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get so many things done quickly when you meet up, when you just you feel, you see the body language and you adapt to it and you change things so quickly. But we also need to adapt to the new situation where people work a lot remotely, and we need to we need to be in advance of the curve, to stay ahead of the curve and adapt to this new situation.
Love that. Finally, I think we have a very important question. I mean, you are busy all day, every day, and we love to ask a very lighthearted question at the end of our podcast. So we're very curious, John. What do you do to decompress outside of work?
I need sports. I am doing every day my fitness. I have a fitness bike at home, a cardio fitness bike at home. So I need every day at least 15 kilometers on this at high speed.
And do you live in Paris?
Just outside of Paris.
Okay.
Yes.
I love that everywhere is so walkable in Europe. This is the best.
The best.
So
Except when it's pouring,
bikeable.
except when it's
Except
pouring
for
rain.
today.
Yeah, when it's
exactly. Till the end of a storm.
Yeah. So I do that because that's my drug. Cardio fitness a lot, and I also do some golf. It's been an amazing time for me for the last 30 years now in Treasury, but I've enjoyed that. I'm still enjoying it, but indeed you need to go away sometimes from it. I have over hobbies in life besides sports. I'm involved into local politics as well.
Nice.
And this gives me time to meet with people. I like meeting people. I like discussing, engaging with people, and see how I can help also others to improve. So
and then you throw in AI. It's going to keep you very busy for the next 30 years. Well, next week, perhaps, or next month.
Next week, next month, next years. AI will certainly help us to do things better.
Yeah.
The way we do things today to do things better, to do things quicker, and I hope give us time to do more external things.
It will.
We'll see.
It will.
Exciting times.
Yeah. John, thank you so much for taking the time, especially in a busy session like this with Kyriba Live. It's been a great day so far.
Thank
I'm
you
looking
for
forward
letting
to the
us
rest of the
drag
day.
you out of this to do this. It's been wonderful.
The coffee and such. Any last parting words for the audience? Anybody? How do they keep up with you or contact you at all?
So we tricked you with my last question because that's the real last question.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything parting words or thoughts how to keep up with what's going on with John?
Well, for the audience, I mean, we would love to continue exchanging together. Don't hesitate to, and like I said, I like to discuss with people. I like to know what the others are doing.
Yeah.
So this is why also I like this kind of meetings where we can meet with our peers to exchange, just relax, have a drink, enjoy, and how to keep up together, keep in touch. I think that's very important as well. And this is how we progress also in our roles by exchanging with each other.
Wonderful. Great parting words. Thank you, John. Thank you, April, as well. This was super fun.
Thank you, Tom.
So exciting. And thank you to everybody who is listening. I'm your host, Tom Gavigan, and this is Liquid, How CFOs Outperform.